Okay, so as I drink my pre-workout on the way to the gym, I'm gonna let you guys know that today I'll be sharing a little something with you guys in the car versus on the cardio machine because I ain't got that much time. I've had a few things pop up this morning which took me out of the time zone and the time frame I had to do my gym workout in this video, so you're gonna miss out. Still get to hear my crazy voice, accent, and mumbling though, so that's cool. What I'll be doing today is something a little different than usual. I mean, in a way, what I do is always different anyway, since I'm not really sticking to any specific plan of any sort, except for, as I've mentioned before, just a plan to stay fit and strong and in decent shape in general. I've had a couple of requests from people about, well, not even requests, just people asking questions regarding what kind of workout stuff I would recommend. I don't really recommend workouts as any sort of specific exact type training plan or program for you. That I'll never really do unless we are actually training together one-on-one, because then I'll understand who you are, what you're up to, what you like, what you dislike, what your injuries and predisposed situation is. Otherwise, I'm not really going to recommend anything. I'm not one of these one-size-fits-all type guys. I may create something in the future that's kind of a generic, everyone can sort of do. It doesn't have any sort of issues, or if you don't have any major issues and there isn't anything specific, just want to hit the weights and gym and be consistent, I may put something together like that in the future. But for now, all I'm doing is just sharing with you guys what I do, how I do it, and what goes on in my mind during that time. It's a little bit more therapeutic for me than anything, but for you guys, hopefully it's enjoyable, hopefully it's something you can learn from, and hopefully it's something you can follow along and get a feel for and have an idea of exactly what it's like, what it sounds like, what it feels like, all that kind of stuff. So today's session is going to be upon a request from a very good friend of mine out in Asia, who has decided to get himself back into shape, which is an amazing thing. The guy's always been in pretty decent shape without really doing too much work, so lucky for him. But he's decided he wants to get back into it. I haven't seen him in about a year and a half or something, so hopefully everything's okay and he hasn't turned into a big fat fuck or some shit like that. But yeah, I'm gonna try and do something that's a little bit simple. Very, not beginner, but just foundationally simple. Something that's a bit more like basic, anyone can do, just to get him started on that kind of stuff. And I may tap into this workout and do like a round 2 or round 3 or something as he progresses. If he keeps and sticks with it and ends up needing an more advanced kind of workout, then I may do that for him for this. But this session is going to go out to basically anyone and everyone who wants a bit more of a basic, simple foundational workout with essentially just dumbbells. He's mentioned that he has dumbbells in the gym, in the little apartment complex he's staying in. I've been in a few of those gym apartment complexes where he lives. It's not the greatest gyms or amount of equipment or anything in the world, but it's, you know, it's okay. It's not too bad. So I'll do some very basic 5 or 6 exercises that I think that he can do on a regular basis. I'll be a little bit more specific about repetitions, rep ranges, and weights. So maybe a little bit more technical than some of my other videos that have been a bit more blasé, do as you feel as you do. Hopefully I'll have access to some of these dumbbells and bits and pieces in the gym today. So yeah, let's go with something like that. It won't be anything too crazy. As I said, it'll be something a little bit more simple and just for that get you started type of gym goer. So hopefully that helps. All right, big ass truck. Okay. So yeah, just to begin with, I won't be doing any of the warm-up stuff on camera because I'll just get it out of the way nice and quick. Setting up the camera and making sure nobody's in the background and stuff takes a little bit of time. So I'm just going to do my 500 steps on the stepper. That's just my promise to myself. But I'll see you guys straight into the first exercise of the dumbbell workout. And we'll go from there. I'll explain a little bit more about what I'm going to do once I get in there, because then I'll have a better idea once I see who and what is in the way. All right, so I'll see you guys, I guess, in a sec. Okay, so a couple of things just happened you guys missed out on, and that is the warm-up. So left that one behind, so you don't have to worry about that too much. It's a little boring after a while, I'm sure. And a couple of warm-up sets on this. So I didn't want to bother you guys with this stuff. I'm trying to make this one a little quick and not too lengthy. I'll try and describe a little bit more of the detailed stuff rather than what I'm thinking about, as this is a little bit more, like I said, in the warm-up. As I said in the warm-up, something a little bit more for a friend of mine and hopefully some of you guys out here who want a bit more of a basic start. So I've decided I'm going to go and do the basic 3 upper body workouts, all with dumbbells. So it's going to be an incline press, it's going to be a shoulder press, and a flat press. So it's essentially all 3 angles of a press. Then we're going to go and do a big back sort of workout, a big back exercise, and then a smaller back exercise. And then on that should be the 5. Then I'll throw in a leg exercise in there. And then there's one more leg exercise I can do, but it doesn't necessarily involve any dumbbells, but it's a basic one we can do. I'll keep it simple with that, and I might even end up with a simple little ab exercise just to throw in a little bit of an all-over body for my buddy and for you guys. So essentially with this one, all I'm looking for is an incline and keeping my back relatively straight on the bench. I'm trying to press up. Personally, I twist the dumbbells a little bit, but that's not something that you need to worry about. The one thing I would recommend is if it's a little tight, or if you feel like your elbows are out too wide and you're lifting your elbows, then just let them relax where they feel comfortable. There's no specific angle that the dumbbells need to be on in order for anything to work or not work, right? Because we're just using the shoulder girdle, so the chest, the upper chest, front of part of the shoulder, some of the lower back muscles are on to stabilize everything, the core is on. So that's basically the press on an incline. I'm trying to press essentially straight up. I'm going a little bit wider at the bottom and a little closer at the top. You can, if you want to go really close, twist. Now, I just don't like doing that personally because it upsets my shoulders a little bit. I'm just trying to get the movements nice and simple. So because I want to stay relatively decent at talking and not lose my mind because of the fatigue, I'm not going to be going to exhaustion on these exercises. But what you will see is I'll have my little rest periods, about 45 seconds to a minute in between each one. I just won't take you guys through that every single time, so you might see a couple little fast forwards or cuts or something in the video edit at the end, so I can make it a little easier for you guys to watch, since this is more of a instructional video than come and train with me type video. And I do have another one of these type of instructional videos that I'll be working on this week. So hopefully that'll be the next workout, and that'll be my morning process, my morning routine, as far as exercise and stuff is concerned. With a couple of stretches that I do and a couple of exercises I do for my knees mostly, knees and legs, just to warm them up and everything. Again, another buddy that's home in Australia has asked me to put something together for him, and I guess instead of just putting stuff together and repeating myself, now that I have this platform that I can go and do these workouts on, I can always refer my friends who have questions back to specific videos if I have like a library of exercises that's essentially already on this platform. So it kind of works in both ways there for everyone. So I'll do another round of this. So for repetitions, I would go something around 12 to 15. Finding a weight that's decent for that is up to you. I don't know what that's going to be like. Don't worry about sticking to the same weight all the time, as in the dumbbell weight. You can go lighter or heavier, obviously, but you can go lighter if you're starting to get too tired and too fatigued before your 12 reps. Okay, your body doesn't know how much weight is in your arms, it just knows how hard it's working. So if you're fatigued one day or the workout's a little too heavy than you thought, just go a little lighter but still complete the 12 to 15 reps.
I'm also pushing into the ground with my feet to keep my stability of the lower body as a foundation of, felt that one. Yes, I'm keeping my feet pushing into the ground to keep a stable foundation on the lower half of my body for my upper body to be able to pull on and request a little bit of energy and kinetic energy transfer from. Maybe a little too technical there, but just push into the ground with your feet. Don't let your feet just be floating around doing nothing. Lost count. Feels pretty decent. I'll do 2 more.
Okay, so they're not heavy dumbbells, but I'm feeling it work. I don't do the incline dumbbell too often myself personally because I do have sort of front shoulder issues. But I do like to still keep them working. I'm just not working them super heavy, not working them super hard. So that's essentially where I go. And I'm starting with this one because I personally struggle with the overhead more than I do the angle. So I start with this one 'cause it's a happy little medium. Then the flat is the one I don't struggle with the most, so the one I would get more work out of. And because I want to work that one a little bit more, it is bench press. So it is essentially the, the most important part of the day. And today is Monday. No, it's not. Okay, Monday, chest day. If you know, you know. But yeah, so I'll concentrate on the bench press and I'll do that third. That way I'll be pretty well and warmed up at that point, and I can get a decent workout with a little bit of pre-exhausted fatigue in the chest from this workout and the shoulder workout I'll do after, the shoulder press I'll do after. And then that way I don't have to have so much weight on the bar to get a decent chest workout, okay? So that's essentially what I'm gonna be doing. I'll get 1 more set in here. 3 sets, maybe. If you don't count the 2 warm-up sets I did earlier, then it's 3 sets of work. If it takes you 1 set to warm up, cool. If it takes you 7 sets to warm up, cool. But we want 3 working sets. All right, some people would gradually go up, which I did. I started super light, got a little bit of a stretch in first, pump the shoulders up a little bit with a bit of blood. Then the next set, I kind of did the press a little bit more. I did about 20, 25 reps, so super light. And then I just grabbed these and just did 3 working sets from here. If I was working myself personally, I'd probably only be about 2 or 3 dumbbells up from here anyway. And I would be going for around about 10 reps, but that's because I'm trying to get and hold a little bit more muscle and strength. So for you guys that are just sort of beginning and starting off, 12 to 15 reps is fine. You should feel like you can do 12, but you should also think I've got a few left in me, right? If you can get to 15, finish out your set. Maybe you get to 18, 19, 20 before you get tired. Then that just means that on the next set, go up a little bit more on the weight, okay? If you are fatiguing at 12, then maybe you need to go down 1 set. You want to be fatiguing somewhere around 12 to 15. You always want to feel like you got 1, maybe 2 left in the tank, 1 or 2 reps left without fatiguing too bad that you're going to lose form, right? So remember, the muscles don't know how many reps you're doing or how much weight you're doing. It just knows how much tension and pressure is on the muscle that's being used. So if you are having too light of a weight accidentally, or you've just found yourself to be more energetic and strong today, finish the set. Even if you have to get to 25 before you're tired, finish that set. Then just adjust the weight accordingly for the next set. Don't just stop at 12 or 15 because I said, and then go, well, that was a waste of time because I didn't even feel fatigued. Finish it till you're fatigued and adjust the weight after. Oh, 15. Right, I'm gonna pause real quick, adjust some bits and pieces, and see you guys in a sec. Alright, so I ended up grabbing the same dumbbells again, so wasn't too much of a change there. That should make this a little harder because, wait a second. Yeah, that should make things a little harder
because the weight itself is going to be heavier if I'm pressing it straight up than on an angle. So in a kind of weird ass way, I kind of just went up in weight, so to speak, by not going lighter on the slightly harder exercise. I want to turn this around, give you guys a better angle. I think that'll work a bit better. All right, here we go. Okay, so with the shoulder press, as I said, the order is not 100% exact. That's just the order I choose. The first 3 are going to be pressing, and then the last 2 are going to be pulling. There's a lot of people that would say you probably need to do more pulling than you do pushing or pressing, which I would agree with in most cases for people who are in the gym regularly. So if I was making a program, maybe in the second adaptation of this workout, there'll be 3 pulling and only 2 pushing. The reason I get started on the pushing is because I know this guy specifically, and I know this is somewhere that he needs probably a little bit more help with. So again, this workout is a specific workout for my friend in Asia who's asked for this, but on top of that, it is going to be beneficial for a lot of people as well if you take bits and pieces from it. Okay, so with the shoulder press, make sure the elbows are not all the way open. Keep them slightly in front of you, not all the way behind you. It's not a perfect square. I want to be slightly in front of myself. The angle of the wrist, again, up to you. Whether you like them to be turned all the way in or turned all the way out is completely up to you. I keep a sort of 45 to 60 degree angle, but I'm like that with almost all my pressing because I just don't like the idea of being rigidly in one place. I like the fluid movement of it. And the rest of it is pretty simple. You're just pressing over your head. So we'll get started with the first set. I do not lock out at the top fully. I don't do it. It hurts me. And the fact that it hurts me tells me that it could be quite hurtful for you too. Whether you feel it or not, the joint might actually be feeling something and you're not going to see it or feel it until you actually maybe hurt yourself. So I personally don't encourage locking out the elbow. I keep the elbow slightly bent at the top. That way it also keeps the tension on the muscle longer, because if you lock the elbow out, then the bones take the weight and the muscles get a rest. At the bottom, coming all the way down until you see essentially the dumbbell just touching my shoulder. Now that's also dependent on the size of the dumbbell. So it doesn't mean you have to go all the way down until the dumbbell touches the shoulder. But I would like to see you bring the shoulder down as far as it sort of sits normally. Don't pull it any further, just let it sit there where it would sit. If I had to hold this dumbbell here for an hour, where would it sit? It's probably about there for me. I probably wouldn't do it, or couldn't do it for an hour, but this is where it would sit if I had to do that. That's the most comfortable spot. Here would hurt. This would be using too much muscle. And here it's not actually resting on my shoulder, it's just touching it. It's almost, you can see it almost not touching at all. But that would be where I would say that the lower part of the movement needs to be. And as I said at the top, I'm not dead straight. I can do it dead straight, but I keep it just slightly unlocked. That's the top, that's the bottom. Little twist is fine. Whatever is easier for you. Everybody's got a different situation with their shoulders. My shoulders are a little bit more internally rotated. I know my friend in Bangkok's, his are a little bit more rotated, possibly a little bit more than mine. So I'd encourage him to, I'm encouraging you, bro, to keep your chest up and leaning back on the bench. Don't fall into this position as you're starting to shoulder press. Keep your head back, keep your chest up, so opposites. All right, they may feel a little bit uncomfortable, but at first, most things will feel uncomfortable anyway, because it's a new thing. The reps on this one, it's gonna be the same, around that 12 rep range. You can drop down to around 10, you can go up to around 14, 15. That little 12 to 13 is a magic little spot. Again, about 3, maybe 4 sets if you want. I would only do 3 since we did 3 of the previous exercise. We'll do 3 in this exercise.
and we'll do 3 in the next one too. That'll give us a good 9-10 sets of working, and that should be plenty enough. The back exercises that we'll be doing, those 2 exercises will have 4 sets each. So there'll be 10 sets of press with 8 sets of pulling. So it's almost the same. No, it's not the same amount of exercises. As far as sets is concerned, it'll be similar. And then we'll do 2 leg exercises and then maybe 1 ab or something. But anyway, enough talking. Let's get them out of the way. If I'm going to do breathing, it's exhale on the way up. Now, obviously, over-exaggerating that just for the example. Don't go around breathing like that. All right, pretty simple, pretty basic. There's 2 sets, for example. I'll skip the 3rd set. I'll do it, but I'll skip the 3rd set on the setup of the exercise, showing you all that because it's pretty basic, pretty simple stuff. And I've pretty much given you all the little instructions I want. Push into the ground, like I said before, with your feet push down, the ground can't go anywhere. The energy you push out into the ground comes back up through your feet. Gives you stable hips and core. So that's the reason for that. But yeah, I'll skip this part and show you guys. Well, actually, I'll keep it on, but I'll just fast forward it or something for the last set, and then show you guys the flat press, which will be the next exercise, flat bench press. Alright, so the bench press. I think like everybody knows about this exercise. Not everybody does it correctly, not everybody does it the way they should for themselves, but pretty simple exercise. Lay down on the bench, pushing your feet into the ground for that kinetic energy, and then just pressing straight up in the air. Try not to let the shoulder blades move forward and back too much. Keep the shoulder blades locked together like a seat belt and pushing against the back of the bench. So don't let this happen. All right, keep them back. Let the weight of the dumbbells keep you down, and then just concentrate on the joint of the elbow and the joint of the shoulder working, not letting the shoulder blades move. Same thing with the angles of the wrists and elbows, whatever's comfortable. As long as they're relatively balanced, moving at the same time, and pretty easy to maneuver the exercise, then the actual angle doesn't matter too much. All right, not rocket science, pretty easy, just pressing. The dumbbell, this part of the dumbbell here, or the bar of the dumbbell, the grip of the dumbbell. If that grip is essentially connected to the other one when you're doing the work, the imaginary bar that those 2 grips would line up to make should hit you roughly around the nipple line, okay? If anything, the nipple line or an inch or so above and below is the ideal point where you come down. So if I come down in this area here, you see that the imaginary bar between my 2 thumbs, so to speak, is roughly around my nipple line, okay? Now, with the grip being changed, that's irrelevant. It's still imaginary line between the 2 dumbbells. The center of the dumbbells where my palms or my thumbs would be. That bit we want. But we don't want to be up here. It'd be too tough for you to do it out here anyway, so you can't really make a mistake there. The mistake most people do is they lift that too high. They lift their shoulders up. When you lift your shoulders up, you take away the stability of the back. And the back is what stabilizes the shoulder and will activate the chest better if your back is stable. If your back is stuck together, then the front can do what it's supposed to do.
because it has something strong to keep the foundation of it going where it wants to go. Because the body's quite pliable and adaptable. If you move it and change it, like if I was to move my shoulders around in a different angle during the same exercise, different types of muscles will switch on. Different movements will technically happen on a small scale inside the shoulder, inside the body itself. We won't see it, we won't feel it too much, but it's doing things slightly different. So that, on top of if we have pre-existing injuries or little special conditions, then your body's not firing 100% the way it should be. So when that happens, then yeah, you got to be aware you're working out something slightly different. Right, we get kind of set in. It's been about a minute or so. Okay, so I'm doing roughly around 12. It's working the chest for me. It's also working the front part of the shoulder a little bit because we have gone and done that shoulder press and the incline bench press already prior. If you find yourself needing to do those 3 exercises in a different order, that's completely fine. It's up to you. If at the beginning it's a little too tough, then what I would say is take the order of the exercises and switch them around. So start with one of the, let's say the first exercise, which is a press on an angle. Then go and do the leg exercise, which we'll do next. After that leg exercise, then come back and do the shoulder press, which was the last exercise we did just before this. Then after that, go back and do the second leg exercise, which we'll do after that. Then come back and do this one. Then go back and finish with the ab, right? So there's essentially 3 shoulder presses or shoulder-based pressing. Then there's 2 leg-based exercises, and then there's 1 ab. But you don't have to go into these 3, then these 3 in the order I'm in. You can mix and match them that way. That way, as this one works out the upper body, this one will work out the lower body, which will rest the upper body for the next set of upper body, which will then rest the lower body from here for the next set of lower body, and so on. So you can alternate those 2 things. You'll find yourself probably breathing a little heavier during that because the blood is going to go from upper body to lower body to upper body to lower body, which is quite strenuous. So you might find yourself huffing and puffing a little bit more, but bear in mind you will be resting the joint that you're working. So the upper body will be resting while the lower body is working. So you'll get a little bit more out of maybe a slightly heavier weight or whatever. That's just at the beginning. So if you feel like your legs are a bit sore because you've been out partying all night or something, then do the 1, 2, 3 leg, shoulders and chest exercises back to back, and then give your legs a bit of a hammering at the end. Completely up to you. I don't recommend any specific order. It's not going to change too much. It may over a long period of time. If you did all the 3 at the same time and then the next 3 at the same time, you'd be able to get more weight out of it, heavier, maybe get some bigger size out of it. But I know that's not your goal. So just to get some strength training in general, go with whatever you feel with on the day. If you're too tired, but you still want to get your workout in, spread it out. Have maybe 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes rest between sets. That's not going to hurt you too much. As long as you can stay in the gym consistently and keep training every day that you're in there, as hard as you actually have in you, then you'll be doing yourself a favor in the long run. And one of my favorite sayings is that every hour spent at the gym adds an extra hour to your life at the end. I believe in this unless you walk out onto a street with traffic. And let's see if that works out. Last set. Squeezing at the top with the muscle, but not letting the shoulders come forward. Coming all the way down until I feel comfortable. I probably have 1 inch or so left, but that would be switching the muscle off completely, which I don't want to do. Again at the top, squeezing the muscle, and then almost all the way, about 98%, 95%, all the way to the bottom.
So the basic things to remember there, those 3 exercises don't have to be done in a row. The angle of the arms and the hands, the shoulders, elbows and wrists don't have to be exactly the same as anyone else. It's whatever's comfortable for you. Don't fully lock out the elbows at the top when you're doing anything pressing. This one you kind of can, because you should be trying to flex the muscle, like show off the muscle a little bit so you can get a mind-muscle connection. Push your feet into the ground as much as you can to get that kinetic energy transfer and stabilize the core and the hips. Breathing in on the press, breathing out on the press up, breathing in on the way down. For these ones, it'll be opposite on the other side. And then, yeah, that should pretty much do it. 12 to around 12, give or take a couple. 10's okay, 11's good, 12's perfect, 13's good, 14's fine, 15, you probably have too light of a weight. 3 to 4 sets, depending if you're warming up or not. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go to the bathroom and pause this, come back, and we'll be doing a rowing, a bent over row. So we'll see you guys in a sec. Okay, this one will be a row, bent over row. I apologize if I'm gonna be sticking my butt in the wrong direction, but I'll try and do both on the right side of the bench so you can see it a bit better for the camera. This one is essentially very similar in that we push into the ground with our foot that's going to be on the floor. We push into the ground or into the bench with the arm and the hand that will be on the bench. And then the other foot on the bench won't be doing too much. So you kind of want only 2 points pushing into the floor. One is obviously on the bench, not the floor, but the arm will be on the bench and the foot will be on the ground. Those two you push into the ground as you pull with the dumbbell. So as I'm doing an opposite. I'm pushing into the ground with my leg and my hand as I'm pulling the dumbbell up, not just staying there and pulling. If I just stay there and just pull the dumbbell, my body will be doing all sorts of movements. There's no stability, there's no foundation. And if you pull from something that's unstable, it's always going to tear or break. You want the stable foundation. So if I'm pulling from something strong, then I'm getting a good connection. That's what we're going to be looking for. All right. I'll talk you through it a little bit. I don't have a free hand or anything in this exercise, so you just have to go with how I speak versus me showing you examples. But this is the hand I'm pushing into the ground with, and this leg I'm pushing into the floor. I'm leaning my body over and outside of the bench. I'm not over the bench, I'm outside the bench. That encourages that weight on this leg and this hand. There is weight on this other knee, but I'm not using it to push when I said that part about the pushing. So from here, my shoulder's down and depressed, but my back isn't lower. It's a little bit of rotation, but my hips are still stable. Okay, row in, let it out. I'm also pulling downward with my shoulders as I'm pulling, not upward into the neck or into the ear, downward in towards the hip and the low back. So this kind of feels like I'm pulling down even though I'm pulling and lifting up. Okay, hopefully you'll see a bit more or something a little different from this side. I'm pushing into the bench. I'm just going to use this edge and move back a bit because that edge there is a little bit angular. I don't know if angular is a word, but as Monkey would say, if it makes sense in a sentence, then it's a word. Oh, monkey's a friend. Not saying, not pulling you on a monkey. Pull slightly backwards. So this one takes a little bit out of me. I do lift a little heavier on the pulls than the pushes, just because I don't have that shoulder injury
pulling, I do have it pushing. So I feel a little stronger, a bit more stable. I don't want to hurt myself. So this is where I get a bit more muscle working, I guess. But anyway, that's pretty much the basic of the pull. This one seems a little bit more complicated than it actually is. But if you get the basic foundations of it, it's not that bad. There's no rocket science behind it. It's pretty simple. Pull the exercise. Pull the dumbbell. That's the exercise. Pushing into the ground and pushing into the ground is more stable. It's more of an advanced movement. But I figure if I teach you the advanced stuff at the beginning, then it makes more sense in the middle or at the end, or in the advanced section when you need it. You already have an understanding of it, or at least some sort of connection. So it's not so important, it's just what I do. And that's what I would recommend. If I was teaching you one-on-one, I'd be pointing those things out and making sure you understood all those things. Hard to translate in a video, but try your best. I'm trying my best, and we'll see how we go from there. You're more than welcome to ask questions in the comment section. I will get to those and try and answer everything as I can. As best I can as well. Again, just typing a little different than being in person and being able to touch and push and show. So anyway, we'll go with that. We'll do another set. This is 50% filtered water, 50% coconut water, and 1, 2, 3, 4, so about 1.5, 1.6 grams of salt. Straight sodium. All right, another round. Knee, hand forward. One thing I didn't mention, my hand is not directly underneath my shoulder. It's slightly in front. That way I have to lean on it. I have to almost push on it forward and then push into the ground with this foot. Good, stable foundation. There is 3 parts to the foundation, but I'm not doing anything. I'm not pushing on this leg. I'm pushing in here. I'm pushing here at the same time as I'm lifting. Long neck. Keep your shoulders going down towards the butt. Down towards the spine, which is actually towards you, the camera, so to speak, not down literally, but down anatomically, down the spine. I don't know how many reps that is. I'm going for around 10, so I'm assuming that's roughly 10. Okay, what I meant by going down, I meant down that direction, down towards my hips. Not down towards the ground. I don't have much else to say about that. So this will end up being, I'll fast forward this next round, the last set, until we move on to the leg exercise. I said I would do 2 backs, so I might do the next one. Really quickly, I'll show you 1 set of the next back exercise because I have gone through that specific, because it'll be a chin up, it'll be like a pull up. I know it's not a dumbbell exercise technically, but I think it's an exercise that's very beneficial. Everybody should be able to do one or work towards doing one at least. Not one, but multiple. But work towards the first one if you can't. You can use bands to help you get up. I'll explain that when we get to the chin up, which we'll do next. So if you don't have a band, and you don't have a bar, and you can't do a chin up, then you can do the lat pull down machine. Haven't gone through the lat pull down machine yet on many exercises, I don't think. So that tells me that I should probably do that one in an up and coming video. So I'm gonna stick to the chin up being the one I want my buddy in Bangkok to do, because I think he can. I think it's important. He won't be able to do many reps, but it'll be a good way to get started to make it become something that he can do later on. So I'll do one more set. I'll fast forward all this rubbish, so you don't have to be bothered with it. Okay, so the last one for the back is a chin up. If you have the ability to get a band, a rubber band, you can tie the rubber band over the bar, pull it down, and then step on it. And then hold your leg straight and cross your other leg over the top. I know you can't see in the video, but cross your leg over the top, just to hold the band from maybe flicking up towards your face, and then do your chin up from there. You'll get the assistance of the band helping you up. I recommend this to most people when they first start doing their chin ups anyway, because you need to work on essentially the weakest link in the chain of muscles that are working. And when you're pulling yourself up, there's a lot of muscles working. You can get away with one muscle working more than another at the beginning, but eventually you want them all to be in synchronization with each other. So therefore, getting the assistance with the band, which is going to help your body be able to use all the muscles in synchronicity without having to use one more than another just because you want to get up and you really physically can't. So the biceps might do more work. In my case, my biceps do more work than my lats. In someone else's case, the lats might do more work than the biceps. So having the assistance to get the reps out all the way around that 10, 12, 15 mark with the band, which should be relatively easy enough, then off you go from there. And once you have those going, then you can work on doing a little bit less band resistance, because there are different levels of bands as far as how strong and how much they will help you based on colors. So you can work that out yourself. It's not rocket science until eventually you're doing your chin up by yourself. I'll do one set of this because you guys can go back and check out my previous videos as far as all the examples that I've given on technique of the chin up. But I'll try and run through it in one set pretty quickly for you. It's not rocket science. There's a lot of technicality to it, but essentially as long as you're lifting yourself up when you get started, then to me that's enough. That's better. Once you get better at the lifting, then you can adjust the technical things that you might not be doing correctly. I believe in the result coming first, then timing and adjusting it second in this exercise. Other exercises might be the other way around. You might need to do the technical aspect of it first before you finish the result because of a pre-existing injury you have or a pre-existing condition that you have in the movement pattern of your body. But technically for this one, try and just get yourself up. If at the same time you can't pull yourself all the way up, halves are fine, quarters are fine. What I mean by that is if you can't get all the way up, just as high as you can, 2 or 3 reps at the end is enough. It's going to fatigue the muscle, but it's going to make you feel like you did a decent workout out of it too, okay? So I'll do one set of here. I'll do between 12 and 15, see how we go. And I'll try and talk you through what I'm doing at the same time. Hopefully you can see it. So I'm going relatively wide-ish. I'm not close together. You can do close together. If you're going to do close together, then reverse your hands this way, okay? That way you're going to be doing a little bit more bicep, but it's going to help you get up a little easier because it's technically a little easier to do that way. I'll be going this way for me personally, and it just so happens to be there's a couple of bars in the way, so I'm kind of stuck with where I want my hands to be because they have to be outside the little structured bars. But if you want, you can go a little closer together, about as wide as your shoulders, not too much wider and not too close. If you're going to go close, you'll see on some of the bars, the grips are this way. That's okay. So this would be close. This would be shoulder width, and anything outside that would be wide. And you can have wide overhand. All right. I'm doing wide overhand. Keep my chest up, breathing out. Keep my back pulling and rounding out. So my feet are hitting behind me this way. Arching my back, pulling my chest up, keeping my eyes forward. I'm gonna do a couple of halves from here. My grip's letting go. That's all about do it. So pretty simple with the chin-ups. Making sure that I'm arching my back and getting the lats to turn on. And not too much muscle and too much bicep working. The grip let go first, which is fine for me, just because of the other exercises we did before. So keeping that stuff out of the question, working on essentially still the back. Okay, So in this one, we're just gonna be doing a squat. Just a very simple, basic squat. I'm gonna be using a kettlebell for it because that's what I like to do. The dumbbell is perfectly fine and acceptable. When you hold the dumbbell, there isn't one around here. Try and hold it side to side. Okay, I can't find a dumbbell, but try and hold it side to side, not with the grip and then your other hand over the top, because you'll always find yourself leaning it towards one side more than the other. So turn it sideways this way and hold underneath two parts here this way, and you'll be holding it on your chest. Your elbows will be forward, that way it kind of pushes into your chest and it holds itself there. The reason for that is as you're pushing into your chest and having your elbows forward, it also allows, when you're doing the squat, to keep your back relatively straight. If it goes in this position, then that weight you're going to be pulling you forward, you're going to more than likely bow with it. And bowing is fine as long as the spine is bowing. But with that, as fatigue kicks in, you'll arch your back, which is not good. You want to keep the back relatively straight. A little bit of arch is fine. If that's your posture, that's fine to begin with. Unless you're working on posture, you're not really going to change that. Be aware of it so that you don't push the posture out of posture even more, and keep the muscles stabilizing and at least holding the posture that you have. You're not going to change your posture doing squats. You like to do postural work, but then that will then relate back to the squats later when you start to see a different posture within the squat because of the postural work. Be aware of the posture, but don't physically think it's going to be too much. It's not going to be changing too much. So the basics of this, imagining that I'm holding the dumbbells to the side, into my chest. It's just going down. I keep my feet wider than shoulder width apart and my toes pointing slightly outwards. You can see my elbows are just tapping my knees. That's low enough for me. If you have more of a range, keep your elbows in and you can go deeper. I can't really go that deep personally. It rounds my back out, so I stick to this. That's just me. All right. So you saw the elbows touching the knees. That's my distance. I'm tight in the hips, not only generally speaking, but today. The last workout I did a couple of days ago, where I did just here the Bulgarian split squat, or the 1 foot elevated lunge with a dumbbell, which I haven't done anything like that in years. Not the smartest idea. I felt those for the next few days, including up until today. So I'm a little bit tight, but I felt it in a good way. It felt, strong enough to be able to do them. It was tough, it was hard. And I definitely felt in the right spaces, which is the outside of the glute medius, and the internal part of the thigh, the vastus medialis, and a little bit in the soleus. Ooh, which I just felt a little bit doing that, so it's still there. That's where you're supposed to feel it. That's where I'm feeling it. A little bit tight in the low back. QLs and stuff are a little bit tight, which is cool. They work too, so I'll make sure to keep those lunges going in my routine, and the leg press, as well as these squats every once in a while. I don't mind them. I'm not a big fan of squats, especially not big heavy barbell squats personally, but lighter dumbbell stuff like this, I'm okay with. So I'll do the second set. I can't talk too much during these. I'm puffing and huffing and puffing. I don't want you guys to understand what I'm saying, so I'd rather speak about it a bit after. But what I will do is change my angle a little bit so you can see the same squat pattern from a different angle. All right, so I'm doing sets of 10. Forgot to mention that at the beginning. doing sets of 10. The dumbbell is 15 kilos, which is roughly what I was doing when I was doing the lunges, which is fine. It's enough for a workout, especially as a beginner, which is what this session is for. But also what I would be in if I was starting to train my legs. I'd be in the beginner stages for sure, no matter what. Because legs do get used every single day, walking and standing, obviously, moving around. They're quite strong in a long and endurance-based type of way. They're not so strong in a big, heavy sets of 5 or 10 or 15 reps. Legs aren't that strong, that's why we train them that way. But endurance-wise, you'll be surprised how much they've got in the tank and how much they can go, because they are used to standing and walking. And they will stand and walk a lot more than you think. If you have to push yourself, you'll be surprised. Okay, the last set I'll do, I'll face the other way so you guys can see from behind at the same time. But what I'll do is I'll put the camera down, and that way you guys can see a little bit better, maybe the foot position, which I'm realizing you're not really seeing in the shot. So I'll do that. So, all right, hopefully you got that. Feet slightly outside, shoulders and toes pointing out. Keep my head up, looking up, not bowing down and looking down on the ground. I'm looking straight ahead the whole time, 90 degrees from the body, or parallel to the floor. I'm leaning backwards on my heels a bit more. I'm not leaning on my toes. I'm leaning back on my heels, sitting back behind myself. I'm sitting back behind myself, not in front. All right, there's 3 sets of that. There's the 2 legs. Those are the 2 legs exercises. Just gonna stretch this hip out a little bit. Starting to cramp. So that'll be the 2 leg exercise. Sorry, the 1 leg exercise. After the 2 pulling exercises and the 3 pushing exercises. The 3, 2, and 1. What you could do is leg press, pretty simply. You could do lunges, pretty simply. I'll do those 2 in the next workout with a lat pull down. So perhaps there's a part 2 to this video coming up. So keep an eye on that. I'll try and make that the next video or the one after that, as I have the next one kind of pre-planned for another body like I mentioned earlier. That's about it. If you want to do a little bit of cardio, walking on a treadmill with a slight incline, of about two levels, that'd be a good time now while your legs are kind of worked out, your body's huffing and puffing. Go ahead and try that. I would do the stepper personally myself, but I already did it to warm up with before. But I would do the stepper now. If I was doing a workout and I hadn't done a stepper to warm up, I'd be doing that stepper right now too, because my legs are kind of fatigued. Even though it's only 3 sets or 1 exercise of legs. 3 push, 2 pull, and 1 leg. What I might do actually right now is I'll just turn the camera around and show you 1 ab exercise on top of that. And that will pretty much do it. All right, so this is about the only exercise I recommend for abs. Personally, I highlight these a bit more than most other exercises because they're utilizing a lot more body and connecting everything together, not just isolating the abs. You can do them with these straps, which people do, elbows in. If you can't hold on to the grip, it's essentially this. But I personally don't like them because I like to work on my grip. So as cool as these American flag ones are, they're gonna have to wait. So I just hold on. And in this one, it doesn't matter whether you're holding wide or narrow, whatever you can do to hold on. There are even some straps you can get to hook yourself in. That way you stay stabilized there, because you'll only be able to do as many abs on this as your body can hold your body weight. Your grip will get let go first. I'm gonna go for a set of 10 and I'll show you 3 different variations, I should say, from low level, medium to advanced level. So low level would be just this. At the bottom, I'm not touching the floor. I'm raising my knees, but I'm tucking my hips in. Okay. Next level would be knees trying to touch the elbows. Last level, toes touch the bar. And then you could also do these. So it's knees and then kick. Knees and then kick. Those are pretty much it. You do a set of 10 to 12 of one of those. And those are just 3 different levels with a little bonus extra at the end. So that pretty much does it. That's the workout. I hope everybody's had fun, and I hope this has helped you out, Seb. So get everybody going. As basic as it comes. I'll see you guys on the next workout. Have a great day. And again, as usual, stay addicted.